Jennifer. We're here for another classroom tour. This time, this is a grade 1?
Yes,
okay,
grade 1.
It's a grade 1 classroom. So before we start, hit a like if you like this video, subscribe. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comments. I'll be sure to try to forward on to Jennifer and we'll try the best to answer. So here we go.
Here we go.
All right.
Okay, so we start with our religion table. We have one in every class in the school. We revisited and change things on it all the time based on the liturgical seasons of our year. We have a word wall here. I like to use it on the whiteboard only because I can quickly just add a word if I need to. I felt that when I had to print the words and cut them out and put them up, I just wasn't using it as effectively. So a lot of times a word will come up, even in a book that we're reading or our words of the week, and we'll just come up here, write it on. It's nice and quick, and the kids help me with that.
Great. Yeah, typically I see it along like the taller walls and people teachers just have it like words kind of set. So why did you decide just to get the kids to kind of put up words just like that? Well,
I do like the quickness of being able to come and quickly add a word without having to go find a specific word that's already printed. Okay. We've tried it a whole bunch of different ways. I've also had it in the past where you've just Velcro them right to the wall so the kids can grab them too. But this year we just try to go with the whiteboard and it's been working really well. The kids come and visit it all the time. So I just like that it's low maintenance and you just quickly grab and go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to look why is there a make with a little arrow?
Well, there's lots of different, in grade 1, teaching them just those literacy rules. So we have the magic E, and the magic E, he's a super E, and he makes the vowel say his name, but then he loses all his superpowers, right? So sometimes they'll look at it and they'll start sounding it out like ma, a, k, and then it's like, oh, no, magic E, what does it do to the vowel? Just a little visual to kind of help them remember to go back. Don't do it all the time, but sometimes it's nice that the kids can just have a visual to remind them of that strategy.
Okay, great.
Yeah. I don't have as many shelves this year as I had in last year's. It's also the uniqueness of the shape of this room. But I do like to have certain books out that just provoke their thinking in terms of what we're learning at this time in the curriculum. So we were doing lots about community and things like that. So I had some about that, some of the maps that they created, and then just other pieces that make the classroom look homey and inviting. That's the biggest thing I think that I wanted to create with my classroom environment is make it feel like home, a comfortable place where they can come and they can learn and they're not just looking at rows of desks in a classroom. Yeah. So when you look in my classroom, I wanted to get away from the traditional look. This is definitely not a traditional classroom. I wanted to create a space right when you walk in that is a place of gathering, a place that shows my philosophy of education, which is a lot of that collaborative learning, the talking, and I feel that because we have our center space here, which is a carpet, and the kids are on the floor and all over the place, I feel that it is inviting to that type of learning. We kind of go back and forth on the different 2 carpets, but we have the smart board. Because we are constantly on the floor and all around the classroom, I do have clipboards that the kids can grab. Sometimes they throw their journal on top of it when we're doing journaling. It's not unusual to see them on their bellies in a corner. Some like to sit at a table. Some like to sit just here on the floor on their knees.
Yeah, I know it's like you have a carpet space here. You have a little more carpet, but you have 2 chairs. And the kids' desks are kind of at the back and the side, or in the side there. Yeah. So it's definitely every classroom is going to be a little bit different because every teacher is different, right?
Yes.
And then why is I know you kind of explained it, but why is it gone away where we have this rows of desk type of thing?
Well, I don't teach in here. We don't spend a lot of time sitting in our chairs, so that's why I'm not worried if some of the tables are further back. They're there for the students to use if they need to. Sometimes we'll do full group like that, but because it's not part of our everyday routine, it wasn't a priority for me. So that's why we did have the availability of those tables, but we do push them back because it's all about that flexible seating and being able to give them voice and choice and they need to learn who they are as a learner and what way that they learn best. And part of that is figuring out that, sitting in a chair by yourself at a desk might not be the best way that you learn. So by doing this, it just provides them more of a collaborative learning style for them.
And the calendar kind of caught my attention. Like most calendars are usually just go by the 1 month.
The month, yeah. So I saw this really cool idea at a PD that I went to in Boulder, Colorado. And there was a big group of us from our district that went down there. And one of the moms of this school was a math professor. And she said that kids think very linear in their math. And I'm not quoting her, I'm just something that she had said. And I liked the idea of kids being able to look at the whole year. So they see the bigger picture. We as adults already have that in our mind, but kids, they don't have that yet because they just don't understand that bigger picture right at the beginning. So we put up all of the years, all of the months, but we went right across horizontally. And this was one of our main projects in September. We talked a lot about visual literacy and how when we see different symbols, they tell us a lot about what is celebrated on that day. So we brainstormed the different things such as Christmas and Remembrance Day and Halloween, and what are some of those symbols that when we look at them, we automatically know what kind of day is celebrated. So they helped me develop it. So it was definitely a project that they had ownership of. They thought it was important to add their birthdays. So we talked about birthday symbols, they added that. And then it gives us a clear visual of how many days of school we've been in. And, I noticed that there's one more day shaded. What does that mean? How many days till spring break? Gives us that visual for skip counting too, but in a very real way. Yeah, I love my easel. I mean, we do so much teaching all around the classroom that I literally grab it, pull it, and take it with me wherever I go. So I just love it. I don't know how teachers teach without it. I am teaching grade 1, so it's a little different. But I have a lot of our reading strategies and things that we've been working on also on my wall, but then I pull them here too, because if I'm pulling them for a small group work or something, I don't have to say like, hey, look at that wall. It's literally right here.
Just grab what you need and write down what you need.
I like to add some lamps into the classroom only to create that softer lighting. Yeah. It's so beautiful to have so many windows in here because the natural light just shines in. I'm able to turn off the fluorescence, and then just with a couple of lamps and the natural light, it just really creates a calming effect in here. And the kids love it as well. So I only have a couple of them, but I really almost don't even see them in the summer months when it gets so bright out.
Yeah. I do have to say, like, this is after school right now, but
yes,
your classroom is pretty clean and neat.
Yeah,
wow.
Honestly, it always is.
Yeah.
And it's not me who cleans it.
Oh, really?
It's the kids. Yep.
Oh, okay.
We talk a lot about this is a shared space. It is our space. It's not my space. It is equally their space. And we need to take care of it. We need to make sure that we're taking care of this. Is a responsibility of ours. It's our right to come to school, but it's our responsibility to make sure that our classroom is clean and that we take care of it. So I put that on them as well. Okay. So we spend a lot of time at the end of the day, not a lot of time, but few minutes every day just tidying up, pushing in the chairs, picking up tricky trash, and making it beautiful for the next day. Yeah. This seems like a mess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, but
there's a
reason why there's
there is. Like, we've been working on these leprechaun traps for a really long time, a good couple
weeks. Is
a
leprechaun concerning around this area?
Yes, he's supposed to make his appearance this weekend. Yeah, so I mean, they've made these traps. It took them a long time. It was very layered, the project. It's not just let's make a leprechaun trap. It's beyond the cuteness.
Also, there's actually a bit of strategizing. It's not just our project, I guess.
No, it's definitely not. We actually made plans for them. We have a whole bunch, but that was the biggest thing is like, don't lose your piece of paper. Like, you need to make sure that you're planning it. So.
That's cool. And like Jennifer said, like, this is grade 1. And I think it's impressive anyways.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Yeah, and then like they have to, it's like I said, like we talked about, it's not our project. It's actually, they have to figure out how to trap this leprechaun.
Yeah, and it's, all the grade 1s did it, but I mean, we talked about, not only gathering materials, you have to also explain the purpose of your product.
Great. And what are these panels that you kind of have up?
These are our maps.
Oh.
So we kind of mix building things, so the science as well as social, talking about our neighborhood. So the students had a choice. They had to make a representation of and make a map of something. So some of them chose the school. Some of them chose the neighborhood. So I had the support of Corey Rofi with our makerspace. And he took the kids that wanted to do the school. They went and like toured the school, did some stuff out there, tried to make a blueprint. We pulled up Google Maps here in my classroom. And their main criteria was pretty simple for this. It's just that you needed a hallway or roads. And you need to pick 5 main things to add to your map. So in the community, that could be the school. Some of them picked the apartment buildings, the No Frills down the street. In the school, they chose like the gym, the classroom, the office, kind of 5 main things. And then after they made their blueprint, which took about 4 times to get it right, because the way that they looked at things was not top view.
No.
Right? So
that's what I was thinking, because like I'm pretty sure a lot of people, even adults, don't understand top view map, right? So
it gets confusing.
it's different perspective, right?
And it's something that some of them have never really have experience with. So after doing this a couple of times and then bringing up Google Maps Street View versus the top view, they were kind of starting to get an understanding. So then when they made it on their blueprint, now we need to put it on to something bigger. So some of them were drawing their map just in the corner. And I'm like, no, we have to include this whole space. So that was already hard, that whole measurement, like bigger, smaller. It was really fun. Really fun way of doing the mapping. I'm so lucky in this class because I have so much storage. This is probably for band instruments. But
like this along this wall, you got nice stretch of
nice cabinets. And in all of these, I have they each have 2 tour drawers. So we talk about organizing it, what's important to keep in your drawers. We just clean these out, actually.
Oh, these are the kids.
These are all the kids, yeah. So their logins, a Sharpie, of course, chapstick, because that's important. Number lines, headphones, and then their writing journals for when they need them. And then underneath, they each have their own bin. And that's where they keep the rest of their supplies.
Okay, that's cool.
So we just went through all of them. So some of them, even that whole organizational skill, right?
Wow.
You need to be able to recognize that.
No markers everywhere and glue everywhere. It's all nice and neat.
So every so often we go through this. I mean, just like a desk.
Yeah.
Going through it, making sure that it's nice and
clean,
tidy, and so we do that. And I do the same thing with my own material. It's a little messy right now, just because we're literally in here all the time.
I don't think it's messy.
But having just a variety of different materials like dice shakers gets them up and moving and adding without sitting there with a worksheet.
Oh, that's cool, actually.
So
you just shake it and get the numbers.
Yep, so like they'll each walk around, we'll do a dance. This is from Boxcars and One-Eyed Jacks. Really, really great. I love all of their resources. And she provides you tons of different games that you can use. And I love going to PDs where they give you practical things to do in the classroom that you come and it's getting the kids up and moving and it's fun. So I get a lot of stuff from her. So just having all of your materials readily available where you have 10 minutes, then I'm coming to get the dice trays or whatever else and doing some math.
You don't have to like sit down and assemble or
yes, exactly.
think what to do, I guess.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then separating it like math, literacy, art, and then religion and other things. This is my classroom library.
Yeah, and actually, it's really nice. Like, it's well organized.
Yeah.
Colorful, too.
This was more for the kids because I want them to have something that is visually beautiful, something that's easy for them to navigate through. If they're looking for a specific book, they know exactly where to go. So I just made these simple little labels and just with zip ties, quickly put them on. And the kids are so good. Even with this, when we talk about cleaning up our classroom and making sure that the books are beautiful and organized in a way that's visually appealing to the next person who's going to come and pick a book. Okay. And they're really thoughtful with that. and really respectful and making sure that it's always organized.
Yeah, question though, like most of the time when books are put labels, like they're usually like A, B, C, D, like alphabetized.
Yeah.
But like, you have it kind of all over the map. You got social studies,
Yeah.
religion, like I guess that's subject, so that's okay.
Yeah, they have
but
a
like,
mix, right? Like we have some
but this,
different
like,
things.
like this Franklin here, superheroes,
Well,
like
even-
why you categories like that versus this alphabetized?
Well, it's more so like, especially with kids that are little, right? They, you know, you want to read a book about sharks. Well, where are you going to find that? Okay, well, is it going to be in Friendship and Feeling? Probably not.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's animals. We have fiction and nonfiction animals. Well, what do those two words mean? Okay, so if this one is, this is an information book about sharks. Well, if this is an information book about sharks, does it go in the fiction or nonfiction? So you're constantly teaching those little literacy
So I guess you're
lessons,
also
right?
kind of teaching at the same time, like
Yeah.
categorizing
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
And then they may not know it exactly right
No,
away, but it's
Not at the beginning.
working their brain somehow.
Yes. And then eventually they get it. So this I like to have a little art center, just with a variety of different materials. It is they're able to use it anytime. Some pens, some different markers,
It's not
different
for
mediums.
decoration.
No, they actually
Especially
do all
this,
the
like
time.
it's so colorful. I just thought it was just there just to make it
Yeah.
look nice. So you actually get the kids to use it for sure.
Yeah, all the time. This is the early learning coming out of me, but it's presented in a way that invites them to come and use it. Even when they're looking for sight words in books, like they'll come and grab like a magnifying glass and they're using it in their books or whatever it is. And
And then you got blocks and Legos.
yeah, I have a whole bunch of
stuff.
stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, we're constantly doing centers in here in different projects and challenges and stuff like that. So the kids are able to use it, and it's so funny because I always get a knock on the door and they're like, "Can we use your blocks? Can we use your Lego?" From older kids, and
really?
yeah, from their teachers doing that. So it's just a collection going to garage sales and without my husband knowing, and collecting all these things from retired teachers, even, right? And then coming and having it in the class, so in case we do need it, I have it right away. And I mean the building unit alone, but just with math and stuff like that, you can use all of this with it. So just gives it that hands-on learning.
So I think that every classroom should have this, but I'm guessing you have this because this was supposed to be for a music room.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's probably to wash instruments.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. But it's really nice when you're doing different projects and they're representing it with different mediums such as paint, to being able to wash everything and have everything here. Water, the kids help me with it, and you have 3 or 4 sometimes lined up all helping at the same time to wash brushes even, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's really nice. We have just a couple of visuals up here for the kids that we've created together. Our jail. This is our jail for rule breakers, like such as said. Can't really sound that out. Like have, for example, that's technically it looks like it's a magic E, right? So it should be have, but it's not. It's have. So we throw them in jail.
Oh, because they don't quite
Yeah, we throw them
they
in
don't quite
jail.
follow the English rules of
Yeah, there's so
Yeah.
many rule breakers, which makes it really
yeah,
sometimes
yeah, it
when
must
you're
be
trying to
tough
teach
when
them.
you try to teach them. Yeah,
Yeah, we're like, actually, that one doesn't follow the rules, so I'm gonna throw them in jail.
yeah.
I can show you some of our documentation outside. So I only have, because it was a music room, I don't have bulletin boards. So we had to be creative in terms of representing different things that we've done. So some stuff with Lent, but it's not just their Lenten promise that they did. It's like our kindness eggs. This is by our religion table, choosing different things, different acts of charity that they can do. We pull it out and going to the custodians and saying thank you and writing them thank you notes or whatever it is. So documenting that, so again, parents know. This is our building unit. These are just 5 of the main things that we did. There was other things, of course, that we did too. Our Not a Box. So kind of letting them pick 5 pieces of material first, making a plan, that blueprint again, putting it together, and then if they needed more material after that, they were invited to go and get more. But if you provide this type of things to grade ones, they will take all of it and glue all of it on a box. So it's going back to that purpose. Why are we doing that? Let's plan it out. Let's choose materials appropriately.
That's a good idea. Instead of just like, here you go, kids.
There you go.
And then it's like, they'll just, like you said, glue everything
Yeah.
together. Versus if you get a purpose,
Yes.
then they'll learn.
Yeah.
And it's just good for kids overall, right? So.
Like the leprechaun traps, for example, I'm not always here to explain what we did. So this kind of explains everything that happened, how we developed our criteria, how we met with the grade 3s, how we went to the makerspace to collect different materials, and then just one example of one of the girls that kind of put it together.
And you kind of keep it out here just because so parents can see it,
Yeah,
I'm
mostly
guessing?
parents,
Okay.
sometimes other teachers.
Oh, yeah, that's good, yeah.
But just documentation allows you to explain the learning that's happening in your classroom without you being there. For the most part, like they actually like look like them. Like, yeah, so funny.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of custodian stuff right now. It's after school.
Yes,
so that's
this is
why.
after school.
No, it's not like this, right?
No.
So.
Oh, right. So I think it's important when you find out who you are as a teacher, that also changes as you move on throughout your career. But there are certain things I find that help me just ground myself in who I am as an educator. And one of the main people that helped me find who I am is Marie Whalen, and she gave me this. And when I left her school, and one of the things that she helped me remember was that you have to believe in every child, every day, no exceptions. So I often remind myself of that when you're having those days and you have that one little turkey and you're really having a tough day and they're just not getting it, but just remembering that the ones that are the loudest need the most love. But yeah, so this was my classroom. It is always hard for teachers to open up their doors to let the world see inside their classroom. Everyone is on a journey in teaching, whether you've been teaching 1 year or 35 years. So I hope you can take one thing from my classroom and be like, that's really cool, I'd like to try that. I do that in every classroom I go into because I just find that just taking one idea and taking that with you and then embedding it within your own pedagogy and your own classroom and being able to live it and make learning fun, because that's really what it's all about.